Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Cicero Planning Board meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Bloss, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business is the approval of the May 3rd minutes. Any questions or comments? Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Mr. Bloss.
Yes.
And I vote yes, minutes have been approved. Now we'll open the meeting to public comment. And is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the board on any active application? Anybody? We'll close the public input and move on to the first agenda item. This is site plan review continuation of for Clinton's Ditch, property at 8478 Pardee Road, proposed warehouse extension. Good evening, welcome back.
Good evening. Good to be here. My name is Mike Oranger. I'm a semi-retired general manager of Clinton Ditch. This is my project. But we were with you guys a few months back, and we designed the first version of the transformation of the Clinton Ditch property. And I call it that because that's what I believe it's going to be. It's all said. So we're looking for approval. Site plan with Scott Freeman and folks at Coppinger operated. We come up with a good plan. We've got which basically amounts to a three-phase project if you look at our picture here. The two major phases of the projects are transportation garage, which is the northwest.
We'll get you a pointer so you can point to it, Mark. And hold on one second. We need to get you a mic too. Steve Procopio is ill today. We'll get you a mic. Now you can talk about her.
How to get that going.
Let's put it right in there.
Thank you.
We actually have to. I saw it.
I'm way off. I'm losing it.
Here's one.
You did it show up there?
See it's there. You can see it. Go up there.
When it hits the screen.
Lights off.
So it's not you.
Wouldn't be the first.
No, you can see it there, but you just can't see when it goes up on the screen.
I can point.
Here's a better.
No, that's right. Yeah. Always work. Well, I'll do the best I can. I take the microphone and walk up there if you like. So if you look at the north west part of that site map that you see up there, that's a transportation garage. At Clinton's Ditch, we do about 70 truckloads of soda every day. We're an independent filler for PepsiCo, for those in the audience that don't know. And we've been engaged in this business since 1968 in Cicero, New York. So we've been here a long time, have a very successful track record in town. Over the past 11 years, we've grown our business. I think when I came on board, we were around 17 million cases. We're about 28 million cases right now. So we've grown our business quite nicely. But we're at a point that we can't grow any further without expanding our plant. And so we're stuck. I would tell you that over the past 10 years, we've added about 100 jobs on that site. All good paying jobs, good benefit plan jobs, United Steelworkers. And we also have a truck drivers union as well. So when I got there, I think we had about 212 employees. We now have about 285. So we do our 70 truckloads of soda a day. Sometimes that peaks up into the 80s. And we can't expand Clinton's Ditch any further without knocking some walls out and building new space. And that's the primary part of this project. But that means we have to make some modifications to our property. We have a challenging property because we have a lot of wetlands on our property. So we've really worked diligently to try to work around those the absolute best that we can and still accomplish what we need to accomplish to grow our business. So one of the first things we have to do in order to try to get that transportation garage you see in the northern part of the property, the northwest part of the property, we need to, there you go. Thank you, whoever's doing that. We need to relocate our employee parking lot to the southwest part of the property right there. Exactly. So that would be the phase one of this project. We really can't do anything until we get moving on that phase of the project because of restrictions in other parts of the property. So phase one, we're talking about relocating the employee parking lot, doing a major refurb to our employee entrance and locker room on that side of the building, which will look beautiful when it's done. Once we get that done, phase one, phase two would be to do that transportation garage in the northwest part of the property. And that's a 20,000 square foot expansion of our trucking business. So when you do 70 truckloads of soda every day and you distribute all over New York State, I think we've got 42 tractors and 170 trailers, about the size of our fleet right now. And that fluctuates a little bit, but that fleet is currently being serviced by a very outdated and antiquated two-stall garage. So that fleet has become a competitive advantage for Clinton's Ditch. It has really helped us grow, especially in the last 5 to 7 years when, finding freight and trucking and all that has been near impossible for people that don't already have connections. And so having our own fleet has been a great thing. And we want to make sure that we keep that fleet alive and well. So we need to build a transportation center that's going to have a wash bay in it. It's going to have multiple bays to do tractor repair, trailer repair, stuff that we just can't get done in a two-stall garage. We farm out a lot of work, but it makes all the sense in the world to have that right on site. So that would be phase two. And then phase three would be to bump out the building, which is kind of in the middle of the property, if anybody can light that up. But right there, that's a 119,000 square foot addition to our building. And what that will allow us to do is lay out our plant in more efficient ways. It will allow us to get out of an outside warehouse that we're currently leasing over on the old New Process Gear property. We've been forced to basically go outside our plant because we've run out of room. We rented 75,000 square foot warehouse a couple of years back. If we were able to build this expansion, we would be able to get that warehouse right back on our own site and actually reduce the truck traffic in and out of the Pardee Road area. So this would be a major win for us to have this new addition and to have this transportation garage. And for the owners of Clinton's Ditch, in 1968, they formed this co-op to service all these upstate New York Pepsi distributors. It's approximately a $32 million project when it's all said and done. There's never been an investment in Clinton's Ditch prior to the original investment that would come even close to that. So this is a big commitment by a lot of franchise owners in New York State to basically be producing Pepsi and Cicero for a long time to come. So that's the essence of the project, and that's why it's so important to the business. Without it, we're kind of stuck, and that's really not a good place to be in the business we're in. The beverage business is a very diverse. Anybody that goes into a fast track or whatever your favorite, corner store is, will see the proliferation of all the drinks and all the different brands and so forth and things that are out there. So that's how you stay viable in this business, and having the space to grow in our plant is going to be key to that. So that's it. That's the summary. And that's where we're at. So if you guys have questions, anyone here with questions, I'd be happy to answer them the best I can.
Any questions at this time? Are you going to go through?
Yeah, I'll go
Plan?
through the details of where we are with comments and give you guys an update on what's different from the
Any
last.
questions on the presentation so far?
I was wondering, as far as time frame, how long this was gonna take.
There'll be some overlap, but our hope was to be able to start this project in June. And if we could start in June, it's about 28 months to do the entire thing,
Okay,
especially with all the buzz of, Micron coming to town and so forth. Obviously, we'd like to get started sooner rather than later. I think it'd be in our interest. We've already committed and contracted to CNS, local company, a pretty prominent local design builder. Is working closely with Scott and Keplinger Freeman. And
So
Yeah.
28 months for all three phases?
for all three, yeah. Like I said, a little bit of overlap there. You start one as you're finishing one.
Anything else?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mike. Scott Freeman, Keplinger Freeman Landscape Architects and civil engineers that work with us. Yeah, time frame. That's the big thing to make this work. And what we've done working with Mark, your engineer here, we've submitted our initial package to construct that employee parking lot in the lower left portion of the site. We have a stormwater facility that Mark's reviewed several times. And we have the bulk storage is the middle part of Party Road is getting those delivery trucks on and off the road. So we have a lot of those things preliminarily approved. So I have Mark's most recent comment letter. This will give you what's been different on the plan from last month. So we have Mark's comments addressed here. Onondaga County DOT, we made some minor changes on the plan. So preliminarily, they looked at our plan. They agree with the road changes coming in and out of the site. We're now down to putting the final sizing of the culvert pipe and adjusting the spot grades, but they do agree with the locations in the upper left. Those are two new entrances and they agree with those. So that's comment one on the list. The second one, Mark, we have the traffic information you asked for. We have in the traffic study, and we could forward that to your office tomorrow. The southerly entrance on the Party Road is not consistent with the layout on the other sheets. That's because we changed it. We squared it off. That's the one that's in the middle. Originally, we had it on an angle. When we went out in the field with CNS, we found a manhole and a utility pole that could not be moved. So we adjusted the entry to the top. So that's one of the reasons we're going back to OCDOT to show them, Onondaga County planning to show the modification there. And Mark had a comment here, add curbing and to designate within the parking lot, the 6 shapes within the parking lot. We had to add some notations there. So we have curbing there. We had comments on the subdivision. Initially, we had thought there were several lots here. I believe it was 3 lots, Mike. Two lots. We were going to keep them. Yeah, so we had a request to combine them all into one. So we're working with the surveyor to address the subdivision. So that'll all be done within a week. So that's fine. As part of the seeker determination, and this is probably the big ask, I can finish the rest of the comments, but what's important with the seeker is this project's related to some funding with OSIDA and the OSIDA deadline for this project and submission. And the request is, can we go through the seeker and get a negative declaration if everything's been addressed? And Mark had some comments saying, environmentally, there were some things you have to look at because we have the engineering and everything pretty much completed for phase one, but not for the remaining phases. What Mark and I had a discussion and he advised me to talk to the wetland biologist, ambient engineering, and they put together a 3-page summary. And I'll do everybody a favor and I won't read it to you, but I'll give you the summary. The summary is we're in the process of addressing the notice of violation, and we're in the process of committing to paying for the wetland relocation where the new truck facility sits. And we have a meeting with Army Corps and DC scheduled. I believe it's next week. Monday, yeah. And it's been a 4 to 6 month process with Army Corps and DEC. You know, we couldn't do anything in the winter. We did some field work in the fall, but then we ran out of time. Couldn't do much over the winter. Now we have to walk the site one more time. But so that's why we haven't been able to finish phase 2 and phase 3. So we're not there yet. But in order to make this project happen, as Mike mentioned, we really need to address staff parking, get that to the south. That's where to get all the people out of the way so we can construct everything to the north. So we'll get back to the secret thing at the end. Yeah, lighting schedule should be up. Excuse me, updated. We did that. We have a lighting photometrics plan. There's 4 lights illuminating that parking lot. It's dark sky compliant. No light leaves the site. And then there'll be some wall pack lighting on the outside of the Pepsi building, and that again will be dark sky compliant and work with your lighting requirements. Some plant items, we added more plants and some labels. Statement of use, we added that. Name and address, some other minor housekeeping items. So again, I guess in conclusion, we're to hit that 28-month time frame. We're really hoping that we can work something out, if not tonight, within the next week. If there's anything we can do with, you know, Mark, your attorney, or the board to get that declaration, a neg deck on the seeker, so we can apply for the LaCida.
So the seeker for all 3 phases.
We're here for discussion.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be, because you really can't segment.
Yeah.
You know, per the seeker regulations, you need to look at the overall project. So we don't have all the details for the overall project, but that doesn't necessarily preclude you from doing a seeker determination, as long as you feel you have enough information on the project to understand the scope of it and what the potential impacts are, and believe that they can be mitigated. So the items I've indicated to them initially would be impacts on wetlands, stormwater, and traffic. So those are the items I've indicated that they need to provide information on relative to the overall project. They've got a site layout, so the first plan here and what was reviewed initially here, you know, gives you, you know, the layout and the scope of the project, so you can certainly see what the impacts are with that. You know, other items, again, the wetlands, those types of things, I think we need a little bit better information on that. Scott said that they're going to be able to provide that. You know, other items like lighting and those types of things, we know that we can address those as we get into the detailed review.
Sure.
So, so those are the things I've flagged out. So in the comments, I suggested that he come to the board and talk to you and determine if there's any additional information that the board wants beyond what I've already got.
Yeah, the only thing thank you, Mark. The only thing I'd like to add to that is when you give us if you approve the long form EAF, you're not approving anything that you wouldn't override the DEC. We still have to go through the DEC to get the stormwater addressed with the wetlands. You're not signing off on us building a fleet center in the middle of a wetland. We're not going anywhere until we work with the agencies. You know, we're gonna, if we have to adjust our plan, we will. You know, we have a backup plan if we have to move or make adjustments, but this is the plan we want. And this is the plan we're moving forward. And according to our wetland biologist, we're going to, in her words, we're going to get there, but we have to get there through the process. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to pressure or leverage you, but it's just, there's money on the line and there's a timetable too. It's just starting to get warm now, any minute now.
Mm.
And then we have a little window to get this thing started, because, you know, if you miss a season, that could be worth a pile of zeros on a check somewhere. So we're asking to move in. And just the last thing I want to say about the traffic is the traffic engineer is in agreement with our plan. Onondaga County with the driveway entrances is in agreement in general. There's just some minor pipe sizing and dotting i's and crossing t's. So in general, we got a mostly complete set of documents, and we're asking for a little flexibility and.
And if I could
Yeah,
just
sure.
jump in quickly, my name,
Could you please come up to the mic?
yep, sorry. My name's Tom Fusillo, and I'm with Hancock at Estabrook, and I'm just jumping in tonight. My partner, Chris Danaher, is the project attorney on this. I just want to say, though, I mean, it's not uncommon at all. You've got a type 1 project and you've a full EAF, and you're looking at the impacts of the entire project, but each site plan review is separately phased, and you'll have a chance to review and approve each phase. And, you know, your engineer and Scott Freeman, I mean, they discussed what appear to be the adverse environmental impacts from the project. And Scott's had a chance to respond to it. And, you know, I guess the main request is you go through the environmental impact, environmental assessment form tonight, answer the part 2 questions. And if, you know, we need to come back at a meeting before the next OSIDA meeting, you know, we can do that for your final seeker approval. But, you know, the timing is possible, and it's not unusual to do a project in phases, but look at the environmental impacts on the whole. And that's really what the law requires, as Mark said.
Understood.
I just have a question. Has this been typed as type 1, or where are we?
You know,
Because if it is type 1, but I don't believe we have made the request to be the lead agency at this time, so that would be a 30-day process.
and I apologize if I misspoke. The environmental assessment form would state that. How many acres is actually getting disturbed?
Don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, 10 acres is the trigger, and I don't think we're there.
That's my question.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, Scott, so I didn't.
It's in here. Hold on, I get it. I printed this out just as I walked out the door.
So I assume the other agencies would be DEC and DOT and OSIDA. And none of them are gonna want to be lead agencies, so I mean, that's something you could follow up quickly if you needed to.
And I'm seeing something here, that you disturbed 24 acres. One.
I see 25.
Yeah.
Well, that's March 22nd. So it sounds like it's over 10. Mark, what's the date of the one you're looking at?
I think it was submitted on 3/21. The last submission we submitted is the updated, the revised seeker with the updated phasing. It was early March. That was,
Scott?
yeah,
Coach?
that was the original, and then we.
So this one got dated March 22nd.
Yes, that's the one to the site. This thing was there.
So this shows 25 to be disturbed.
It's more than, it's less than 25, but it's probably more than.
And then you put the whole thing down, you don't need 30 days on. You know, that was DEC and, yeah. Gotta go forward, DEC,
Not the
Not the-
core, not the core. The core is about agency under state secret. Because they don't have, if you look at the definition of, involved agency, state agency.
Doing the math in your head?
I'm not gonna argue with the tree.
Involved.
I know.
Acres above it.
I know that the two lots we bought at the bottom are 4 acres, and that's what that whole area was to.
It's not 24 acres.
There's no way it's 20 acres. I know.
Just you, it's just to declare. Work on that definition. Yeah, it's definitely not.
Here's the issue.
Hmm.
This goes to, it's over 10 acres. We would have to declare lead agency. Send out on the notices. Then 30-day turnaround. We're not really sure at this point whether it is, but we would make the declaration just to get that ball rolling.
30 days the max, so it's not necessarily DC, DOT, and Scott could get them to respond pretty quickly if they agree that it's like the legacy. What is the next one?
I'm gonna need you to approach the mic, please. That's okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
No, I'm saying 30 days is the max under seeker. They
Correct.
can respond earlier and say, no, you're fine. I think Scott should be able to approach DEC and OSIDA and DOT, who are the only involved agencies I could think of. The Army Corps is not, because they're a federal agency. And if you look at the definition in seeker, there's definitions in section 617.2. And if you look at the definition of involved agency, that tells you who are the potential lead agencies. And if you're not an involved agency, you can't be a lead agency. And it says state and local agencies, not federal, or definitely not. And if you looked in the DEC handbook, it'll say federal agencies can't be lead agency. But it's a chance
So
within a
30
couple of
days,
weeks.
but hopefully shorter.
It can be shorter if they respond.
Correct.
Should probably declare lead agency.
I have to apologize. The reason we don't have an exact acreage is because I've been dealing with DEC for 6 months, moving lines all over the place. But in all honesty, we should have lowered, I mean, the disturbance area on the plan right now is probably 13, 14 acres. And we're not, it doesn't make sense to cut it to 9. It just
Right.
wouldn't work. I mean,
Right.
you're right. It's over 10.
And
acres.
I think if they declare their intention to be lead agency quickly, you should be able to get the agencies, at least those agencies, to respond. I can't think of any others that they got to have a discretionary approval. So that's DOT, it's DEC, and it's OSIDA.
Neil, we send out those notifications. The town does.
We have to declare the intention of the town of Cicero Planning Board act as lead agency for this project. That would be.
Would anybody like to make that a motion? You recommend we do it now? Do we have? I'll make the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Mr. Blas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So we have declared lead agency. Is that it for tonight?
Well, and you can do it by fax, or you can give Scott something telling him
The
that
zoning officer
you
is very
intend to
familiar
be,
with it.
and you can, whoever.
That's the back of the house.
Right. Yeah, they're very familiar with getting and we'll let them know. I mean, we want to work with you. We love having you folks here, and we want to work with it and expedite the project as quickly as possible. But we got a procedure to go through.
Yeah, we.
You know better, just as you know better than I do.
Wrestling wetlands and at the top, the Pepsi went through we went through 3 options, and we just finished revisiting. This is the most efficient. Then we had this OSIDA thing come to the table. We have a lot going on. So
And what date is their meeting? OSIDA?
early June.
well, their next meeting is June 7th. I think I remember hearing Ositis is June 8th. So it's certainly possible if you can get the agencies to agree to sign off on the planning board. And they usually do. I mean, local agencies are usually, the state agencies usually don't want to be lead agency.
Coordinate with Steve, he would know
Yes.
all the lists. Yeah,
Yep.
Coordinate with Steve tomorrow. One person on that.
If he's not in, you can speak with Heidi.
Yep. Appreciate the guidance on that.
Why don't you provide a draft part 2 for us to review?
Sure. And if you really wanted, I could read through the wetlands, but I think there's
And
not.
what
a lot to
about
be-
the
there's not a lot-
traffic study,
The
Dave?
traffic studies, I mean, Mark,
Oh,
you
you've got that,
reviewed
or-
that.
Well, I've got the original.
Okay,
What I asked for was clarification on what the impacts are relative to the truck traffic coming out of the site, because the traffic study addresses basically increases based on the addition for employees, not the truck traffic, and how the modifications to the site will impact the truck traffic coming to and from the site.
well, Mike, if you don't mind, like Mike to answer that question with the situation we have with the on-site storage and off-site storage, truck traffic actually would be reduced.
Which is what we need in writing.
Yes, I just thought for the benefit of the board. you want-
I pretty much do that as the answer.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, just to reiterate, we have a 75,000 square foot warehouse that we're shuttling stuff back and forth. So all that truck traffic is coming to and from our plant. I don't think even with the addition that we're doing, that we'll still be better than we are today in terms of truck traffic. So we'll create a statement to that effect, and
You give me that in an email, I'll get it to Court Stansbury. and we'll
we
get
can do that.
started.
yeah, we can do that.
That works. Any other questions from the board at this point?
No, not at this point.
Gentlemen, we appreciate your support. I'd like to close. We've been here for over 50 years. We've been good corporate citizens. We're going to do what's right for the Cicero community and try and get this thing off the ground. So any help, any support you can give us, much appreciated. Thank you very much.
You got it. Thank you.
Cicero, appreciate you.
Well, yeah. That's not. Okay. Hey, Look through your list.
And
You're
involved in entities list. You might want to get a hold of every one of them that should pass the.
I mean, again, I don't know if this has been updated. You got a zone change out here, which is not.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
so.
yeah, we have the,
You'll have a core in there too.
we do, yeah.
The cord.
Well, the good thing is we're meeting with, those guys are ridiculous to get in touch with, but we're meeting with them Monday.
Well, you don't, I'll send Mark or you the definition, but they list who they are, but federal agencies don't have to. You can copy them on
You're
there.
gonna meet with them anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna meet with them Monday, yeah,
So, but
yeah, that'd be a good suggestion.
you have to do is,
Okay,
Up, Mark, good. All right, we'll move on to the next agenda item. This is a site plan review for a proposed new equipment dealership located on Eastman Road.
Clark.
Clark?
It's me if it's Clark.
You're Clark. You're not Clarky.
No, I don't do commercials, I don't do TV. Yeah, I guess the point here, I guess. We're down to a couple items here. I think the new entrance, I guess, is the biggest thing. Just switching gears here. The last plan, I don't know if the board recalls, we came off of Eastman across the site, and what was required by the county was Eastman Road's kind of narrow, and they're concerned about turning onto Eastman, and there's a utility pole right on the corner, and we looked into the cost to relocate that to get the proper radius, and it was a budget buster. I mean, it's just to relocate a national grid utility pole in the right of way is just astronomical. So we went back to the county and we had shown them a plan similar to this early on, and we had a full access. You can't do full access there. It's one way, but we decided to go for a right in, right out, and our client is perfectly comfortable with that. So we put the plan together and we preliminarily sent it to the county, and then they reviewed it, and they're, we're in the process of finalizing that location. We just wanted to let the board know that we went through these transportation changes if you had any questions. So that was really, I think that was the big item, Mark. Oh, the second one was the water. The water. We designed, two types of engineers have to design this. One, to get the water from Eastman to the building. And the second, to get the pressure, the pressure is a concern there. So our engineer, we had discussions this week. It's going to take some work and some time, so we don't have that answer tonight, but I do want to let you know, we are going to schedule a pressure reading, get the exact pressure out there so the engineer can design the exact size tank that we need. We're preliminarily, we think if there was a water tank required, it'd be 13-foot diameter, 16-foot height, and you could put that in the building or on a pad outside the building. So those were the, so we're going to go down that path, get a little more information, and then come back, because
That'll satisfy the fire department's concern with water flow.
that's their big concern. They keep asking about the water pressure. So we can't, I could draw a circle on a plan and say, here's the tank, but they want the calculation. So we're working with Adam to figure that out.
And then there was also a concern with the 3-story. I saw something by email today. You're going to 2-story. Is that right?
No, I think it was the
Second
height.
entrance?
I think we're the building height.
The building height shown is 32 feet, which is,
Building height.
if it's over 30, there's some extra requirement that's needed. I think it's 2 means.
A second entrance, correct.
So they revised the plan to bring it down to 30 feet.
Yes.
Therefore, the 2 means access is no longer required. for the
Gotcha.
porch.
And we're,
So, yeah, so as Scott said, the issues can be resolved, and would be through the code review regardless, building code, building permits, not site plan. The only caveat to that is if, and I discussed this with Steve, and Steve's notified them of this, if they do have to put a tank outside, they may have to come back for an amended site plan. But again, as Scott said, they might be able to do it inside the building, so at this point, you can go ahead and consider approval of the site plan as it's presented. And if you need to modify it, they'll just need to come back in the future.
because we have to get a building permit anyway and work with town of Cicero anyway to get all the building's not been designed. So, it's kind of a money situation with Clark Equipment. He's wants to make sure he has this before he makes the next big investment. So would be very helpful to him if you consider making a.
So Mark, the water flow issue will be resolved with building permit?
Yes.
Jim, any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned the change as far as the entrance.
Yes, and
And
that's been
exit?
coordinated with
Okay,
OCDOT.
this has been changed to Northern Boulevard then?
Yes, that's Northern Boulevard. Yeah, right in, right out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because the other is very narrow.
It's narrow and we just. The owner was willing to do add some more pavement and do some things, but. I haven't priced it recently, but it's a lot of money to relocate a pole. 6 figures plus. I don't know the exact number, but.
Good, Mr. Abbott?
Yep.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions.
Sure.
One, the people coming from the south, they can't turn left on Eastman. Well, there's no entrance there.
Yeah, yeah,
So they have to go up to the four corners, make a U-ey and then
yeah.
come back from the north.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine.
Get a ticket. Cause I don't want to do that.
One thing that caught my eye too is on the agenda here, says proposed new equipment dealership. It was my understanding it was all used equipment and rentals.
It's new, it's new, it's high, it's some used, but it's high-end stuff. It's not, if you go to Adam's place right now, off the, where he is now, it's not rusting unsightly equipment. It's high-end, some of it's reconditioned. It's
Okay. And also some new equipment then apparently.
What's that? Excuse me?
Also some new equipment.
Yes.
Okay. You know. And I was wondering, just a comment on some other equipment dealerships around, we require them not to have the unit stored that had the high lift, add a high lift for safety or for, visibility. So I just thought I'd make that comment. And the building signage is the same as had been.
Yeah, we're not
proposed.
changing. Yeah, it's on the building. So
Okay. All right, that's it for now. Thank you.
Mr. Bloss?
I'm all set.
So we received the email of the new elevations. Have we got hard copies of that?
I don't have hard copies.
I think the records eventually. I think, yeah, I can't answer the question. Is whether hard copy.
Yeah, I just think I just have the site plans. Not sure. I just brought the site plans. Basically, they took 2 feet off the top of the building. It didn't change the finishes. It didn't change the overall look. I mean, it's same color scheme, same everything, less 2 feet.
You're gonna provide a hard copy.
Absolutely.
Would be part of the motion. Neil, do you have anything?
Did you do the subdivision?
Yes.
That's combined. Yeah, that's complete.
Mark, you have anything additional?
No,
I'll make a motion for our standard seeker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Mr. Bloss?
Yes.
I vote yes. Seeker passes. Neil, when you're ready, would you please propose a motion for approval?
You're gonna move the of a resolution approving the application known as EDSA Savoy Company One LLC, Eastman Road, tax map number 055-02-01, and Northern Boulevard, tax map 55-227 and 55-228. Proposed new equipment dealership. This approval is strictly conditioned on the following: one, the code scheme and rendering standard elevation is presented by the applicant to the planning board in regard to this application shall be incorporated by reference into the site plan and the board's approval thereof. Accordingly, the actual project must substantially conform to the items as presented herein. Two, the applicant will provide a hard copy of the elevation as presented herein. That hard copy will be provided on or before.
What's today? Friday. Okay, give me a week. Good idea.
23rd, 2000.
That's fair.
Is that everything? Do
That's in the form of a motion.
we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Mr. Bloss?
Yes.
And I vote yes. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I can work and focus on one project.
Next agenda item is site plan. This is for a proposed new retail banking branch at 8062 Brewerton Road. Again, this is a continuation. Hello, gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. Michael O'Reilly, Principal Design, representing Sydney Federal Credit Union. Just to briefly recap, we've gone through a couple submissions with Mark. I think we've addressed all of his comments, here to kind of address whatever outstanding ones you guys may have. The big ones for Mark, we made some minor adjustments to some of the curb transitions, softened some things up, provided curbing on the entire site. Went through the lighting plan, a couple details with Mark. Got all our foot candles down under 9. Provided our landscaping plans and 2 large trees on the front. I know we did that a couple times. We worked through those details. It sounds like Mark's overall pretty happy with what we've sent so far. So just wanted to kind of answer whatever outstanding questions remained with you guys.
Mark, you want to address anything at this point? We're open to the board.
No, I think, open board, review. So I think, that's the comment that I have. Or provided. Yeah, no. We both are.
All right, we'll open the questions, Mr. Duval.
Okay, you enter and exit from that access road
Correct,
that goes into Walmart, right?
correct, on the back side there. Yep, it would be a shared entrance with the coal muffler that's currently there.
Okay.
Correct.
I'm good. Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Abbey.
I had a couple of questions. I read a comment about wetland delineations on your plans weren't there.
Yeah, there's no wetlands on this site that I'm aware of, so it may have just been an oversight on our side, if that note exists.
And I'd like to see an elevation design on the building and the surrounding it there. Because you see your planned footprint, but you don't see what's on the sides of, especially along the entrance.
Yeah, we provided Mark with the architecturals. The last set, I may not have put them in just because they didn't change.
Okay, maybe I didn't see that then.
Yeah, I apologize. It was in our first submission.
Thank you.
The first set, I think Mark had them, yeah.
Okay,
And I brought photos too. I think I brought them to our last meeting as well. The outside is a phenolic panel, and then the black that you see would be a wood look panel.
Yep.
And I brought more photos if you'd like to see the finished product. It's gonna more or less look identical to what we did in Amsterdam. I know the drawings, sometimes it's hard to pick those details up.
sure. Now, which one of those faces Route 11? I can't read.
Top left.
And which is the south side then?
That would be the bottom left.
Okay, now in the plans along as you come in to the Walmart entrance, you show trees along the south side of your footprint there. When you come in that drive, you come straight, then it curves right around almost at a right angle. It'd be, behind.
You're gonna be
big-
seeing that top right image. That would be the view from that side.
Okay,
And those trees would, yes, be along that edge.
okay. I was just a little concerned about if there would be any line of sight problem.
Sure,
People making that turn, they're
Sure.
headed your way or to Walmart.
sure. Yeah, I kind of expressed that to Mark, so we kind of pulled the trees you guys requested on the Route 11 side. We pulled them back out of the right of way as much as we could
Okay,
to make certain that that we didn't affect the site distance that currently exists. All the other trees that exist on that Walmart entrance will remain. There's just one dead tree right in the middle. That's the only one we intend to take down.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Blas,
I'm all set.
are we good with the tree, illuminated tree? As far as the bright, I tried to find one.
Yeah, I actually brought a photo for you as well, so you can see what it looks like at night. I think we listed the foot candles. It's not much.
Yes, if you go to the drawings, we list the lumen output of the tree. And with all the LEDs and lighting that we put on the site, we'll add dimmers to those, so it can always be adjusted.
Yeah, so the tree puts out very little light. There's small little LED strips right on where the branches appear.
Did you see the review on it?
There's another.
It's also, if we look at the photometrics that we supplied, I did include the tree.
It is, okay, so if that's the case, it's not created. It might. You know, obviously it's an attention getting.
Car wash kind of thing.
So I'm sure it's gonna catch your eye and.
That's exactly what it's for.
Maybe,
Different. Yeah, it's kind of interesting looking. I just didn't want it to be,
It's not, it's very soft. Like Dan said, we do put it on a dimmer. So we can roll it up and down too. But it's a very soft light. And it's
Do we have control of it?
Good.
Just let us know in advance.
I have nothing additional. Neil,
I'm all set.
Mark,
Also,
I'll make a motion for our standard seeker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes,
Mr. Bloss,
Yes.
and I vote yes to the seeker. Neil, would you make a motion for approval, please?
Yes, you're gonna move the adoption of resolution, application on the Sydney Federal Credit Union 8062 Virgin Road, proposed new retail banking branch. This is your restricted to use on the following one. The public schemes, renderings and or elevations presented by the applicant to the planning board in regard to this application shall be incorporated by reference into the site plan and the board's approval thereof, according to the actual project must substantially conform to the items as presented here.
That's in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
yes.
Mr. Bloss, and I,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Last agenda item is for a proposed car wash facility. This is also a site plan revision for the property at 7940 Bruton Road. Good evening.
Good evening, Garrett Steiner, project engineer with DES Companies, representing Splash Car Wash tonight. I'm also here with Dave Clements, the owner. So we're here for site improvements for the car wash at 7940 Brewerton Road. This project was previously already approved by the board on 9/7/2022. Since then, Splash has decided they'd like to rethink the circulation and keep one of the existing automatic in-bay wash areas. So that's why we're coming to you with the amended site plan. So the proposed changes are a plus or minus 600 square foot addition to the existing in-bay, making it 75 feet in length. The vac farm and stanchions are now on the east side of the property. Lighting, landscaping, and utilities are very similar to what was previously approved. Signage is very similar to what was previously approved, and we're not making any changes to the DOT's entrance. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Tell me again what you're keeping or adding.
So they're demoing the southernmost in-bay and keeping the northernmost and adding a 600 square foot addition on the left side to make it 75 feet in length. Yep, right there. So they're demoing the southernmost in-bay, which is not seen on there, and then adding to the existing one.
The southernmost in bay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? A wash bay?
Yes. Do you have the demo plan? I'm Dave Clements, one of the principals of Splash. Should be a demo. There you go. So the one that has a black dot in it, bottom of the page, rectangle right there where the red dot is being demolished. Remaining one towards the longer bay right above it stays in our concept. We had an addition approved where the other black dot is at the top left middle of the page where there's another black dot. In our previous application, we're going to do an addition at that end. Now we're going to leave the we'd like to leave the building alone, add on to the in-bay that we just referenced there that's closest to the building, and remove the southernmost in-bay, what we call an in-bay bay. The machines in those two smaller rectangles sit stationary while the car stays stationary while the machine goes around them. The machines in the longer bay above it is an automated machine where the car moves through it and the machine stays stationary. So one is touch-free, one has friction. That's why we're trying to maintain that option for our customer base. The whole goal of this improvement, both last year and again now, is to just improve the circulation. We removed the self-serve building, which is dotted to your right of the screen. That's gone already. We inherited and we have maintained for 15 or better more years a traffic flow which has people coming in from 31 heading east into those in-bay automatics, and then we have traffic going through the tunnel above it the other way. So what we're trying to do is get everyone to come around and enter from the east and head to the west so that we maintain one flow of traffic instead of what's been there for 20 some years. Having this, we're trying to make an improvement on the site. The difference between this and the last application that was approved by this board, thank you, is that we had eliminated both in-bay automatics. And now we've revisited thinking that we want to maintain the one closest to the building.
Are you also adding these vacuums over here?
Correct. The previous application, the vacuums were in a different location. They were along the building. Now we're putting them in the back.
So this seems to create a very sharp turn as you come in here, because you really cut down on space you have here.
Correct.
And essentially, I mean, not that there was much left before, but I mean, in the way of green area, but I mean, the site is essentially paved. You've got no work buffer whatsoever anywhere along this. It just seems very intensely developed. And I think you provided a truck movement or something here, but I mean, this seems awful sharp to try and make it.
Our engineers use a F-350 full-size pickup truck, extended cab, full body to use our turning radiuses.
Is that included with this submittal somewhere?
Did you do the turning radius?
We have the turning radiuses, but I don't believe it was with the
believe-
initial submission.
We had discussions offline, because I know we talked about the fire trucks and their ability to make turns and turning radiuses as well too.
So I just suggest the board closely look at what we're getting, you know, and also the aesthetics, so that you know what these vacuums look like and such. Do they provide some cut sheets on those, or the board should grab a picture of those. Overall, Mark, I don't think you guys obviously discussed it, but to point out, it's constantly developed and very tight, it seems right now.
No, I had the same concerns, Mark. So that's the elevation now.
No, that'll be the rendering of the improvement.
Yeah, this would be the
When you're,
improvement.
yeah, the new,
Yeah,
the new
that's what we're proposing in this application. To the existing building. We're trying to improve the traffic flows, and I do respect and appreciate the thoughts there, but we're trying to make an improvement to the circulation on site.
it does seem awfully tight, and we're
Yeah.
gonna have to see those turn radiuses.
Right, we can definitely provide those.
To be honest with you, I was initially a little concerned with the elevations on paper compared to what you were doing before. I mean, the front elevation of the building.
Originally with our original,
Originally, we had that second story going up.
on the front towards the,
This did not look as nice, but that looks better.
yeah, this is back down, kind of just extending the one bay to add a practical, this is needed to accommodate a new piece of equipment. We'd be reloading, we'd be re-outfitting that in bay, what we call the in bay, and making it, improving it with a new piece of machinery that's more efficient in maintaining a touchless approach, so.
So, and I also agree with Mark that it's very intense, the site. I think you need to work on that a little bit. Put some green space in
On the
there,
green space, the site is only
maybe not so many vacuum.
0.75 acres.
I understand that. We'll open up questions, Jim? Mr. Duval, do you have any
Yes.
questions?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay.
So you're eliminating, or you did eliminate in the back, right?
That's
On the
gone.
side. You are doing away with part of it and you are adding on to the big portion, or you're not?
We're adding an addition to the remaining portion of the in bay.
So the larger building that is in the top of the middle of this page, this long rectangular that's white in this depiction is staying unchanged. That's correct. The one below it is stark white, the pointer is on right now is maintained. The addition is directly to the left right there. And the next bay used to exist in the long landscaped island you see right adjacent to the white. That's being added. So that long strip where that addition or where the building was right there, yep, that's all landscaped now.
And you're adding vacuums?
We're taking the vacuums that we had either on site previously now, or the ones proposed in the previous application. We're trying to organize them back in the east area, kind of all as its own. The last application, do we have the last one up here? We should have brought that copy.
There were 45 degrees along the southern portion of the wash tunnel.
We have about, we have plenty, we have 65, 70 locations throughout the state. Been at this for 25 years. This previous application that was approved when we recently constructed another one, it made us revisit. This one was approved, but the vacuums that are shown there along the building, those diagonal spaces, it's too tight. The ability to get in and out of those paths as we have people pulling around them, we just thought it would be better if we separated the two, condensed it, maintained the in bay, and just relocated those vacuums to the back. Just to make the site flow better, we thought, in our opinion. So this is the one that we had approved in September. It had the addition to the road. As you can see, it's a small rectangular up there in the.
So the vacuums are gonna come away from the side and you want to put them at the back.
Correct. So they're all on their own out. These here are the way that we had them approved, is that people would pull in, and of course they'd have to back into the oncoming traffic that's coming in. So as we revisited this over the past few months, we decided to revisit the entire site and decide if we really wanted to get rid of the in bays, if there was a better traffic pattern, if we could get the vacuums in a different spot. It's a very narrow site here. It's been a car wash for 35 years, but we're trying to make it better. The real fundamental challenge has been is that the traffic pattern has existed for 30 years. We have some people coming in from the east and some coming in from the west. It's always been a challenge for us. So the first thing we wanted to do is clean up how we get people in and around the site. And then as we entertained keeping the in bay automatic, we decided that we should, again, keep people coming in the back. And then what do you do with the vacuums? If the concession had to be made the turning radiuses we've added out, we don't want our customers uncomfortable, of course. It's why we use the biggest trucks and the little modeling to use to see what the turning looks like for people. We don't want people K turns and backing up and all that stuff. We want to make the swing. So we do believe that would work, but if we had to concede two back spaces, we could gain we could gain 15 feet or so.
How many vacuums in the new site?
13.
13.
There were
Right, there's
10
5
in the
here.
previous submission.
We had 10, I think. How many is it? 10, I think, or
Is
9.
this the vacuum?
Yeah, all
Yep.
of those, yep.
Those are all.
Even the handicap one is a vac.
This green, so
Yes. Each one of those.
5?
No, all the way down.
Oh, I don't see any more of these things.
I can't see what that is even.
Those are just cement blocks to stop cars from,
Oh,
those are just rubber wheel stops.
I got the bumpers. All right.
There's stanchions in between.
Oh, this is bumpers. And that-
Well, it sounds good that you got everything or want to have everything flowing one way. But the turning radius is the big thing here.
To get into that first bay looks very difficult. The most southern bay, no. Coming here to get in here.
Yeah, that. In the practical world, what we actually do in sites like this, is what we would do here. Get a striking plan on this. The striking plan. The left hand lane, there's 2 lanes coming in, and that's just
capacity, it's stacking capacity. But they all obviously have to go into one lane eventually. So usually we do that right on the radius of the turn. So although it doesn't show here in the field, we actually, the employees would actually cone and flow, so they would have to go to that black dot in the lower third, right there, right? We want everybody to merge back into a single lane, that's where everybody does transactions of, either paying or.
Wouldn't we want striping on that?
Even makes sense.
No, we could
I'm
have
saying
striping
if
or
you're gonna have them come to
delineation
that one
cones.
dot, that should show, the lane should show that, you know, the striping, so when they're driving in, rather than cones. It should be part of the plan. I think.
Yeah, I think we need to see the turning movement, I think. Need some direction from the board as to whether we're happy with every pavement right up to the. Site, obviously I'll look at the remaining details, but. Yes. I mean, you got, so you're just providing. Bollards. Let's be separate the traffic.
Yes,
That's.
or there's a curved island as well.
Yeah, I see concrete bollards. I see bollards along here, which are being used to separate this lane of traffic from the adjacent. And you got 31 feet in this vacuum tile too. I mean, seems like that could be narrowed down. You could get a curved island or something in here. I mean, bollards aren't really attractive. You know, so I mean, the board got to consider what the site's going to look like, with how it's being proposed with bollards, connecting stations, all pavement.
I agree, Mark.
Previous site plan, please. Yeah. Well, like I said, it's not like there was a lot of green space to begin with, but this has gotten up.
Right, no, it doesn't, this is more than it does now. And so does our proposal.
Well, that's got a little more green space. It's got an area here, the traffic circulation works better, the aesthetics of it seem to be better.
In this one?
No, yeah,
The original one.
this one, this is the original. This is this one. I mean, we now got bollards and vacuum stations ringing the site. Being used for traffic, you know, to separate your entry aisle from the vacuum area. The board can decide whether they feel that's something you like.
May just be too tight for that second bay.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we could look at the truck templates and train templates and how they might stripe it to bring the circulation around. Again, up to the board again, whether you're happy with the aesthetic and the layout and such.
And I already said I'm not. Most of the guys.
It would seem like there could be a little bit of landscaping.
So there is landscaping proposed for the site. There's a landscaping plan
A
along
little more.
the
little
green
more.
space. And we can look into adding more green space in the corners of the site, some more green infrastructure.
Does everybody agree with Mark's comments?
Yes.
So I think you got some feedback, which you need to work with, and you'll do a review.
Yeah, I'll write it.
I'm still confused. I look at the other, map there. From Route 11, it shows an exit going north, or exit going south. It's not an entrance at all now?
Yeah, there's the entrance down here. This is on
Oh,
the side.
down there.
Yeah.
Or from the back.
Yeah, this is current configuration. I don't think anything's changing there.
Okay.
And then, yes, there's also.
Coming in from the parking lot.
From the-
And you've been there so long, just curious, what do you do with your snow?
I think they pushed snow
Into the parking lot on the,
towards the east and then up towards the west, and then I think we have to truck some off too here at this site.
'cause, you know,
But yeah, we've been here a long time. I think the car wash has been there since the eighties. We've had it since 2007, maybe.
okay, I look forward to, seeing a little rework.
Anything else?
A quick question on the, your idea on the vacuum systems. There's no way that you could exit those vacuum systems into the mall, or it's not legal, or?
No, I mean, typically what we do with the vacuum systems typically is, there's a curbed island that delineates the travel areas from the vacuums themselves that serves as the stopper for cars as well. I think in this case, we were trying to keep it flush. There's probably some drainage issues that are associated with blocking that. In other words, we'd have to leave some spaces out of the curbed islands, et cetera. We thought we'd just leave it flush. I guess it's certainly subjective, how it wants to look and function.
Right.
A number of ways. We all want to protect the patrons and we want to keep cars from hitting things, and we need to keep things draining so that they don't ice up. This is a pedestrian area and we're well aware of that. So, whether we put curbed islands or bollards there, the goal was to accomplish that. Keep our equipment safe, keep people safe, keep water flowing.
I'm all set.
Neil, have you got anything? Mark, anything additional?
I guess I expressed my concerns and comments on it very quick review.
So do you want to see curved along the vacuum island thingies, or is that what I'm hearing?
Say again?
Do you want to see curbed delineation
Your
in the
posts to
vacuum areas
bollards.
between the travel lanes? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, again, my opinion would be that it would be nice to get some curved island that separates the vacuum area from your drive aisle here to eliminate bollards, which are not really attractive. Then you saw it's going to be those boom type vacuums again. Hope these are going to do that. Figure that out. Color wise, I guess I can't quite tell what they're showing here.
We don't want to see detail on the vacuums.
Blue, I mean, it looks like maybe they're proposing blue. I can't quite tell. Maybe this is it, with a red.
The highlighted one there?
Yeah, I guess, with a red hose, I guess we asked if those be black or what's the.
And you'll sum all this up in your comments then?
Yeah,
So black instead of red hoses?
that's my suggestion. These are
Yes.
the issues.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
want to
that's
see,
what I mean. We'll see all that in the comments then.
we want to be similar to what we did with the last car wash.
Yeah, and, I mean, they're for everybody to see, there's no screening. The car
Did
wash,
we-
they, reduced the day, put in additional.
We
landscaping,
must have submitted the same thing on the last day.
Well, we talked about reducing them here too.
Well, yeah, we submitted the same thing we did on the last one. So if it's different than the last time we were approved, we just need to know which one.
Well, the last time they were up against the building.
Yep.
They weren't out here in siting directly adjacent to the adjacent properties and were less visible. Now they're just out in the middle of the site and.
There's got to be a compromise to what we want aesthetically.
Sure.
And
I don't care
and
what
we
color
understand
they are.
from your perspective, you want people to see them and draws them in.
No, I don't care what color they are. I just want to know that we come back, we made the right decision. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't care what color they are, black, red, doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that we just submitted the same ones we did the last time.
Mhm.
We're not trying to do anything
And
different.
you may have to reduce the number and get some screening and some landscaping in.
Sure. Great.
Anything else? All right, we're good for now.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Garrett.
Any questions or comments from the team?
None.
We have a motion to adjourn.